So I wanted to go ahead and do a part two. I know a few weeks ago I did another recording by myself. It was entitled WAP, We Aren't Protected, Women Aren't Protected. So with everything that's taken place this week, I figured this is yet another good time to go ahead and do a continuation of that episode. As I mentioned, I do enjoy recording by myself actually occasionally. So just starting from the beginning once again, just reiterating the point that I had on the previous podcast regarding the whole WAP acronym. We definitely are not protected. So just a continuation too of the blog post that I wrote regarding Breonna Taylor. So as I mentioned, if anyone has checked out the blog, please do. You can go to theqchat.com. So ever since we all learned of what happened, with Breonna, how the police burst into her home, middle of the night, the boyfriend, they were looking for him. He defended himself. I repeat, he defended himself as anyone I think would have done if someone burst into your home in the middle of the night. Okay, so he defended himself, and this poor girl was murdered in the process by the police. So we've all sat there and we watched everything unfold over the past few weeks and everything. I think we all sat by idly thinking, well, at the end of the day, let me rewind. I think we all knew we weren't going to get justice, if we want to be quite frank about it. Because if justice was really going to be served, it would not have taken this long, number one. And I think more and more as each day went on, the more and more we sat by, and this poor girl became a hashtag, say her name. We had to get to the point where we had to remind one another on social media, oh, we better continue to say her name because she's no longer trending, which is sad. So this all took place for the longest. Then, lo and behold, last week, the family came up with there's a settlement. They're settling for $12 million. Me personally, I wasn't moved because I'm like, okay, so they're going to settle with the family and pay them before they offer any level of justice. So to me personally, my personal opinion was that was very demeaning. Her life doesn't have a price tag. And and the way I interpreted it was, we're going to give this family this large amount of money. Obviously, they hadn't came up with any verdict by then, or no indictments, anything. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead and give them this large amount of money and it'll shut them up. That's the way I interpreted it. And everyone else that's angry, all the African Americans, all the black people that's upset, it'll shut everyone up because I just feel like we live in a world where money rules everything. And sure enough, what happens this week? One officer, not three, one officer, he gets charged with this ridiculous wanton endangerment, which I learned is like one step above hunting without a license. It means nothing. And then the wanton endangerment has nothing to do with Breonna. It has to do with the bullets that went into the neighbor's wall. So a wall got more justice than this black woman. It's really nauseating. It's infuriating. It's exhausting that this is the world that we live in, the world that we've always lived in. Malcolm X said it best, the most unprotected woman is the black woman. I mean, we can go back and look at so many of his teachings and speeches, and it's just so dead on in 2020. But Malcolm X said it best. We aren't protected. We're just the least revered group of women. And I don't care who gets upset. Once again, like I said, there's a beautiful button called unfollow, unsubscribe, block. There's so many options you could take if you're sick and tired or you just don't really want to hear about the Q chat talking about matters. Because like I said, yes, the base of my podcast has to do with empowerment, but I'm going to be a conscious podcaster. I cannot sit there and have episodes strictly on what people want to hear, in a sense, meaning I'm not going to cater to people. I'm not going to fart glitter all day. I've said this so many times. There's no way in the world I'm going to have a podcast that glorifies queens, but not talk about the social issues that the queens are facing. And this is what's happening right now. We're not protected. We're not respected. We're not revered. It's just so many different things. And, just looking at everything that's taking place, I'm seeing so many negative comments too, actually. Like, I'm not the type of person that really will sit there and get into arguments with people online, but just little news stories that I've, clicked on since this whole ridiculous indictment went down. And there's so many people, well, if her boyfriend hadn't shot at anybody, she'd still be alive. Oh, well, she hung with drug dealers. It's like so many negative comments with, the counterparts trying to justify her murder. And that's the thing that just makes it hurt even worse. It's like no one can just say things could have been done differently. Does that hurt, for the counterparts that just want to continue to blame her? Where we're sitting at, we're not revered. We're not protected. It's scary, just to see how someone's life just has no value in the eyes of the people that should have protected her. I'm sorry, but it hurts. Just yesterday, I sat in this wonderful live, Young Dolomite, he's been on my show several times, the podcast and the live. And he just talked, it was just beautiful what he did. He spent like about 2 hours just glorifying Black women. And the sad part though, because I messaged him after as we chit-chatted, and I'm like, that's the minority, in my opinion. It's like so many people, they don't put their money where their mouth is and really glorify Black women. I know some people personally that talk a very good game. Certain people that I notice, any beautiful woman, she makes a post. Certain people I notice, they're always on it, liking, commenting, blah, blah, blah. But some of y'all, to be honest, you only glorify Black women when people are looking. Let you get in a disagreement with a Black woman one-on-one. I guarantee you, some of y'all really not what you say you are. So I definitely got to give props to people like Young Dolomite that puts his money where his mouth is. He's a real person. He really, truly appreciates Black women, down from his mother, his wife, his daughter, the people that he encounters. It's just, I appreciate people like that, because as Black women, we always hype up Black men. And like I said, I'm not talking about the other people who, I don't like men, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about real women, okay, who do not lump everyone in one category. These are who I'm talking about. So I don't, miss me with, some people, I'm not talking about people, immature people who aren't on a particular level, but I'm talking about actual grown women who know that all men aren't the same. We revere men in general. We hype up kings in general. We respect Black men in general. We love Black men in general. We just want to get it in return. We want it from our counterparts. We want it from our own. And the thing that, I posted a video with Tamika Mallory, and she was talking about this district attorney who's an African American. And I mean, first of all, and I'm not knocking interracial relationships by no means, but when we saw the pictures of him and everything, I mean, he didn't care. I mean, he never was going to really give a shit about Breonna Taylor. We already know where his loyalty truly lies. And I agree with her, where she said, she had just the same disgust that we all had in the video that I posted. He doesn't care. It's like, you're Uncle Tom, cool, whatever. It's pathetic. Like, you're a disgrace. Keep it moving. But the thing about it is, we're tired of it. And that was just the extra, to me, the extra sting of it, to see like the Black male up there trying to justify everything. And, he threw in this nonsense. Well, he's a Black man, whatever. Like, you only said that because you figured people would be maybe less angry at you. But we already know where your loyalty truly lies. We've seen other pictures. You hugged up with Donald Trump. Supposedly, his fiance is Mitch McConnell's granddaughter, which I have to do further research to see if that's true. Either way, go away. We have no respect for you. Okay. You're a disgrace, basically. But back to just the shock of dealing with what's happened with Breonna Taylor. It's just, I don't know. It's really scary, number one. We already know what's happening. Our lives are not valued in general. That's why Black Lives Matter is as powerful as it is. And the sad part is, it's never going to end. We have to still argue that piece with people who are absolutely disgusted with hearing us say Black Lives Matter. They don't want to hear that. They want to give the argument, well, all lives matter, blue lives matter. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the African Americans who get murdered in their sleep, The African Americans who get pulled over and are beaten like animals, the African Americans who are now still being lynched after all this time, that's what we're referring to. We're not treated the same. Our lives do not have value in the eyes of certain people, and that should not be the case. And the reason our lives aren't valued is because of the color of our skin in 2020. So that's why Black Lives Matter. That's why we have to that's why, the people that have an issue with it, that's why you're going to continue to see those hashtags. You're going to continue to see the shirts. You're going to continue to see the protesters because we're tired and our lives do matter. Our lives are important. We're kings, we're queens, and we just want to be respected. We want to be able to walk outside our home and not feel like we're the public enemy number one, like we're not a threat. I want to be able to feel comfortable when my teenage Black male son leaves the home. I want to be comfortable knowing that he can be out like anyone else and not be mistreated or not be judged or not be pulled over by the police, which he has been pulled over by the police actually in our subdivision several times. Why do I have to worry about that if Becky or Susan doesn't have to worry about that about their son? It's unfair, it's unbalanced, and the fact that we still have to deal with it, that's the part that we're upset about. And it's just really killing me that we still have to argue this point. We basically still have to justify our worthiness on a daily basis in the eyes of other people. That's what we're upset about. This young woman should have received some justice. But on the flip side, to be honest, I knew we weren't going to get anything. I knew nothing was going to happen, especially once they settled for the $12 million. It was like, okay, that was shut up money, because I've never heard in my life settlements before an indictment. Correct me if I'm wrong, if that has happened, I personally have never heard of that. So I just thought that was absolutely bizarre, and it's just really sad. So they just basically put a price tag on her and basically, I guess, said, well, hell, we're going to give this family $12 million, which, number one, if y'all think that family really got the $12 million, yeah, right. The attorney, I'm sure, got some of that money. If I'm wrong, somebody can inbox me and correct me. Come on. So that's not enough. That doesn't bring that young woman back. Yeah, money's great. Money pays for things. So obviously if you're grieving, not having that burden of certain debt, I guess, hey, everyone needs money, but it's become an insult at this point because we saw what happened a week later. So that's the part that I have an issue with. And I don't want to talk about actually this whole Tory Lanez thing at all, but I will give it 3 minutes, okay? Since I did touch on that on the previous WAP episode. So I will give it a small amount of minutes in this brief bonus episode. The reason that a lot of people are upset, because I even once again on one of my posts, I have these infamous posts where someone always, they always want to point out something else. The reason people are upset about the whole Tory Lanez thing, the timing was absolutely pathetic. At the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, you did shoot a young Black woman and you mimicked and mocked the situation. And then on top of that, you released this stuff days right after we're all reeling over what happened to Breonna. So we don't want to hear what you have to say. And it's demeaning. I'm sorry. I'm tired of just when we get insulted by our own brothers. That's the part that is just like, it's just too much. So like I said, I don't want to really give too much energy on that situation. So that's the only minutes I'm willing to give on that. But as far as Breonna Taylor, she represents everyone. This actually extends past Breonna. This goes to Sandra Bland. This goes for Eleanor Bumpurs. This goes for so many other people that have been silenced. And just we didn't get any justice, so it's an extra sting, when this happened to her, because like I said, she represented so many others who were hurt and killed, and the many others who we have no video proof of, the many others who the stories were covered up, so we'll never know. She represented all those people who we know are out there who were wrongfully murdered, and it really hurts. So like I said, I don't even want to talk about this for too long, but I did want to talk about this. I don't normally do brief episodes, but like I said, I'm just tired. I'm drained. My whole brand centers around Black women, actually. And that's no insult to any other race. But, like I said, when I wake up in the morning, I'm a Black woman. When I go to bed at night, I'm a Black woman. When I joined this earth, when I was born, I grew up as a Black woman. That's my life. So I have to represent what I'm familiar with. So yeah, I do represent women as a whole, but the core, yes, is Black women. And here's the thing. Anyone that follows Go Queen, that follows the Q chat, that truly knows my message, who is not Black, they're not insulted by what I just said, because they understand fully what I'm saying. Okay. So, I just want to do this brief episode. Like I said, it's not over. We want justice. We want to be treated with respect. We don't want to have to keep reminding people that Black lives matter. We want you guys to know that and respect us. But to my Black queens, I see you. I love you. Like I said, I ride for you all. If no one else rides for you, I do. If no one else tells you I love you, I love you. If no one else tells you to go fucking love yourself, I say it every day. I end every episode with that. You already know. Love yourself, because I'm telling you, you have to. You have to be able to look in the mirror and know that you matter, know that you're enough, to know that you're beautiful, to know that you can do this. You have to have that in yourself, because the world's not going to even give it to us at this point. So so it's imperative that you truly love yourself. It's imperative that you know what you deserve. It's imperative to know that you deserve to be respected. And it's also imperative to carry yourself in a way, no matter what anyone thinks about you, carry yourself in a way that fucking demands justice, that demands respect, that demands people revere you. No one else is going to do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves. It starts within. So, like I said, I just wanted to do something brief because it's really been bothering me. When I did my live the other day, I was already committed, so I couldn't really touch on it, period, even though I subliminally wore my Breonna shirt, because I'm like, I was really heavy that day anyway. But like I said, I was already committed, so I'm like, let me just rock with this. But there's no way I wasn't not going to talk about this. We want justice. It's sad what's happened, but, to my Black queens, I just want to say I love you. I respect you. Everything I do is for Black queens and just to put us on, because no one else does it. And, thank you to the Black kings that respect us, which is a shame that I have to specify the ones that respect us. But that's the way it is. You got to specify at this point. But I want to say that to my Black queens, you are the ultimate privilege, the prize, the package. I say it. That's the whole standpoint of Go Queen. We deserve better. Breonna Taylor deserved better. And it breaks my heart just to know where we're at today. But I just want to tell you all, just love yourself. Here's the virtual hug to everyone that's just still reeling, that's still trying to make sense of this, that's still sitting here in this world right now, a freaking pandemic, and on top of the pandemic, we got to deal with what's turned into a fucking race war. It's ridiculous. So I just want to tell you guys I love you, and I just want to tell the Black queens, just keep your head up. I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but you do matter. Okay, you do matter. Love yourself. Demand that people love you. Just do what you have to do, to just keep your spirits up, to just do what you got to do. Just like I said, this is just a ridiculous time right now, but I've never, ever done such an episode so brief. But I just wanted to just talk about this for a short amount of time. Just keep your head up. Like I said, we deserve better. Breonna deserved better, but we're going to ride for her, whatever way that we can. If that's having a kick-ass business that glorifies Black women, that's how we'll ride for her. If it's to have that kick-ass podcast that glorifies Black women, that's how we'll ride for Breonna. If it's to have that awesome IG page where you hype people up every day, that's how you can ride for Breonna. So we're going to ride for her every single day. And like I said, Breonna deserved better, and Black queens everywhere deserve better.